See, what do you think of Chuck's swing?
Oh, Chuck's one of the worst golfers ever. He needs some of that money he's making. His lessons won't even help him. He's made even the pros look bad. I've seen him on the golf shows where they were trying to revamp his swing. No, he's awful.
And
I might be able to beat him blindfolded.
Jenna, you're allowed. Listen, you can call it what they call it. It's not their own version of the Masters. They call it the Black Masters, the inside the NBA crew. Chuck, here's the thing I don't understand about Chuck and golf.
The only thing about them and the Masters have in common, Jenna, that it's golf.
Here's the thing I don't understand how someone can like something as much as Chuck likes
He's
golf.
so bad at it.
And do it as often as he seemingly does.
Well, he wasn't that bad a number of years ago. Something happened where he got a little glitch in his swing. He wasn't. I played golf with Chuck.
No, I believe you.
Yes, it wasn't. But so...
you know, he just...
What? Let me hear it.
No, because you're
confident. Say it.
You're carrying around a little bit more of Chuck.
You're saying because he's fat?
I didn't say that. I just said maybe
a lot of
if you're
fat
a little...
people are good at golf.
Yes, there are. I'm just talking about Charles Barkley, and I love Charles. That is the highlight.
You, man.
Criticize him. He talked about our show, said our show's early in the morning. He's not up right now.
I'm a big fan.
He's not up right now.
Right.
So
He's not watching. Chuck is still sleeping. They were on late last night, man.
He can't go around his body.
Well, something like that. Let's move on. Time for stories to start.
Body shaming again.
I didn't do it. That is not what I do.
Jenna's just out here body shaming.
That is not what Jenna does. It's brought to you by the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil. Raptors blew out the Sixers 125-89 last night. Kawhi had 21 points, 13 boards. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons combined for 20 points and 13 rebounds. Combined. See, what happened to the Sixers last night?
Didn't show up. Man, didn't show up. Most meaningful game of their career, they didn't show up. And with Joel Embiid, with him being ill, I can understand him trying to play, but I thought Ben Simmons would be ultra aggressive. I thought he'd shoot the ball 20 times. I would much rather, if Joel Embiid, if he's feeling that way again, don't play. Like Brooklyn. Allow the young prince to be a young prince compared to last night he played like a toad.
He's been terrible. Ben Simmons has been terrible. And by the way, Brett Brown, this game was out of hand from halftime on. How does Embiid under the weather still play 31 minutes? I don't understand that. I don't understand what Ben Simmons done this whole series. 9, 7, and 4. Half his season averages in points, half his season average in assists. He's been awful, and he doesn't have sickness or injury to blame.
This offseason, if we don't see some video of Ben Simmons hibernating in a gym, shooting jump shots, overnight stays.
Jenna thinks Jokic be bad at golf, too. Go ahead, Jenna.
That is not what Jenna thinks.
He can be bad at golf because he's good at basketball.
Nuggets blew out the Blazers 124-98 behind 25 and 19 from Nikola Jokic, perhaps the second best player so far in the playoffs. They now have a 3-2 series lead as it heads back to Portland for Game 6. Nick, is Denver in command of this series? Firm command.
I don't know about firm command. This thing, I believe, is going to go 7, but they already won a previous 7-game series. But I want to talk about Nikola Jokic for a moment, because I was very skeptical of his team, because I was skeptical of him going into this postseason. He has been so spectacular the last couple weeks. And in a playoffs where we've seen the young guys without playoff experience, Simmons, Embiid, to name a few, not stepping up to the moment. This guy in year 4 has stepped up repeatedly and has proven guys like me up to this point wrong. So credit to Nikola Jokic. If he doesn't foul out, he has a 20-20 night last night. He has carried them, and he's doing it in heavy minutes, which was another thing I was curious about. Credit to Nikola Jokic for what he's done, basically starting with Game 4 against the Spurs.
Yeah, if you like basketball and you like big men who have skill. Now, if you want a guy that's high-flying, if you want a guy that's cut up and got a six-pack, no, he doesn't have that. But let me tell you, the fundamentals of basketball, knowing the little things you need to know, how to get his shot off, his fancy passing, his hands are amazing. Also, he is a good basketball player. I do understand, though, how you thought that he was overrated. He went from underrated to overrated to now he's earning a lot of respect.
A lot of respect. He's been great.
To the Lakers now, they still haven't hired Ty Lue as their head coach. Apparently, he was their first choice all along, but they waited until...
Small details they're trying to work out, Jenna. Small details.
Very small. But they waited until Monty Williams was hired by Phoenix to avoid the optics that LeBron has been pulling the strings behind the Lakers curtain. Nick, what are your thoughts about this?
So Mark Stein's the one reporting it, and Mark Stein isn't a high-volume reporter, but he is a near 100% accuracy reporter. If Mark Stein says it, I take it as gospel. This is just another example in the line of the Lakers not knowing what the hell they're doing. Oh, we know who we want to hire. We know who we think would be the good hire. But we're worried about the optics. Not so worried we won't hire him, but we're just going to set our timeline back because we want it to look like he wasn't our first choice, because God forbid we would let our best player and the best player ever have some say in who his coach is going to be. This is insane, but it's honestly par for the course for how the Lakers have run business over the last few months.
Yeah, and it's par for the course for you, too. Everything was right as far as what you said.
One of the greatest players ever. Fine.
There you go.
There you go. Go ahead.
Absolutely, because the greatest player ever would have had them in the playoffs this year.
Sure.
Oh.
All right, but, man, Ty Lue's the coach, man. Stop, Lakers. Let's act like adults. Stop acting like kids. All right? Hire the guy. Let's move on. All right? You need players. You need a strategy for free agency.
You need a plan.
This is unbelievable. You don't hire him because you're worried about the optics, so you wait. So silly.
Finally, Dak Prescott seems to be in line for a payday. That we assumed. It's the amount that turned a few heads yesterday. Reports are he could earn upwards of $30 million a year in an extension. See, would this be a good move for the Cowboys?
Now, in the contract, because I believe it's going to be at least a 4-year deal, probably 5 years. In there, one of those years, he might make $30 million. All right? If I look at it and look down, in year number 4, he's making $30 million. But if they're averaging $30 million, if you're getting ready to pay Dak Prescott, you're getting ready to set the organization back. Because at that price point, Dak's not doing the right thing for his career. I know his agent's probably talking to him. But playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys has always been special. Ever since I've been a little boy, the Dallas Cowboys have been one of the most popular teams, not always because of them winning on the field, but because they're on TV all the time. They've had some stars that attracted people, and they've been pretty good also. So Dak needs to understand where he is in real time, what type of team he's on. And that star on that helmet, the amount of money he can make in the offseason that some of these other market quarterbacks that they're not going to be able to make, I would take that in consideration. And I want to play with some football players. And if their inability to be able to sign Ezekiel Elliott, that would affect Dak's career. So you telling me an extra $2 million a year in salary, $3 million a year, that's going to make the difference? So, no, if that is the number, I believe Dak is making a mistake. I know the Dallas Cowboys are making a mistake, and it's going to be hard to add players through the years to keep Dallas competitive.
Something can be overrated, but still good. Something can be underrated, but still bad. Someone in a hard cap sport, how you are paid in comparison to your level of worth is wildly important. So you can be a great player, but overpaid. Dak, I would say, is a good player. And they are about to pay him, according to this report, like he is a great player. That immediately makes your team inefficient. That immediately sets you back to C's point.
Why?
Because when you only have, this is called salary cap, $200 million, you have to essentially be able to cobble together 10 to 12 wins of value with that $200 million. And if you are paying a guy who can give you $20 million of value, $30 million of your cap, then you better find that $10 million extra somewhere else. You better have some underpaid guys. You better draft so well that you have guys on rookie contracts that are playing way above their salary slot. To change sports for a moment, why have the Rockets been able to compete with the Golden State Warriors even though they don't have the number of stars? They got a guy like PJ Tucker making $7 million. PJ Tucker's giving them $15 to $18 million of value in this series. So that is, I hate to be so analytical on this, but this is how you build a team. And if Dak is adamant, this is another chance for the Cowboys, in my mind, to have an escape route from their own public bungling of the situation by talking about it, which is, we want to pay Dak. We are ready to pay Dak. But if he is demanding to become one of the 4 highest paid quarterbacks in football, we need to see more. You can say we had a contract we extended to him. It would make him rich forever. It is a 9-figure total contract. It puts him in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. But his agent and Dak decided they needed to be paid like Aaron Rodgers, like Pat Mahomes is going to, like Tom Brady. Well, like Tom Brady should be, but he isn't. And he hasn't shown that to us yet. So we're going to wait. And that way they can square the circle of what they've said and what they're going to do. Paying Dak $30 million a year is insane. And if the Cowboys do it, they don't know what they're doing.
This is what I believe about skilled guys in the NFL. Like, certain guys are going to, they're going to be overpaid just based on the numbers and based on the market. But as far as these $30 million quarterbacks are concerned, I just always have had it before they start making $30 million. Quarterbacks, all the great quarterbacks in this league, they're going to win you 4 to 6 games every single year. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, these guys, they're going to win you 4 to 6 games. If it's a wide receiver or a running back, they're going to win you 2 to 4 games if they're great. Dak, at his best, is a good quarterback.
Right.
When he plays his best football, he's good. When he doesn't play his best football, he is a liability. Dak, to me, show me where he had a great game, where he carried the team on his back and had a great game. Those are rare and few and far between. So for me, if you're going to demand that type of salary, you need to be able to tell me you can win 4 to 6 games every single season.
And one last point, very quickly on this. Guys that get overpaid compared to what their production is are almost always guys that have hit free agency, and the whole league can bid on them, and so to win that auction you have to overpay. When a team goes to a player and says we're going to pay you before we have to, the reason a team typically does that is because they get a discount. Anyone that tries to extend a contract before the contract is expired, what the player is getting is security, and what the company, what the team is getting typically is a bargain, at least to a degree. For the Cowboys to say to Dak, we'll give you the whole store. We'll pay you like you hit free agency.
Lose for Dallas.
Right. We'll pay you like you hit free agency, and we'll give you the security before we have to. For Cowboys fans should hope this isn't true. $25 million would be too rich for my blood, but that's probably what the market would be. $30 million would be crazy for a guy of his caliber.
All right, let's move on, but let's stay with the NFL and something we haven't said in many years.